Hey everybody, Matt here with the Most Adequate Collection, feeling particularly patriotic today. We're one day removed from an excellent hockey game that saw Team USA win the gold medal against Team Canada, with Connor Hellebuyck putting on their performance of his lifetime in net. I think it was 41 stops on 41 shots. USA getting a 2-1 victory in overtime, and just an excellent game to watch. A lot of fun and cause for celebration. So today I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to show off some hockey cards. And I've done that in the past, but particularly I want to focus this on an area of my collection that I'm going to kind of continue pursuing as this journey goes on. It's somewhat related to a video I posted a couple weeks ago regarding one part of my collection, which is my autographed cards of Baseball Hall of Famers. And along with that, I'm also doing the same thing for hockey. Just on cards, I want them to be single autographs, single player, and I do have some great multiplayer autographed cards. But for this particular part of my project, I just want the card to be of that one player in the Hall of Fame. It can be sticker, it can be hard signed, can be pack pulled, could be TTM. I'm not that particular about that. And unlike baseball, they don't. On this one, I found that I don't necessarily need them to be of a particular team. I know in baseball, I want them to be featured on the card. I want it to be a Playing Days era card, and I want that player to be on the team that is portrayed on their Hall of Fame plaque. But hockey, I don't particularly care, because as I found going through my cards, there's cards of players that are on different teams where it might not be their primary team, but it's a great looking card, and I like it. So I'm just gonna go with that and kind of make up my own rules as I go. I'm going to try to be quick about this, not focus too much on giving a full biography or even an abridged biography of every single player. I found that I have a lot more hockey in this part of my collection than I do baseball. So to go through all of them with a detailed description of each player, each card would just take too long, and no one wants to sit through an hour of someone describing hockey Hall of Famers with an autographed card. But so I'm going to be quick. Well, maybe not quick overall, but quick on each player. And I've got some good stuff here to show you. I got them in alphabetical. I didn't take the time to count them beforehand, so I have no idea how much there are. Between 20 and 30, I think. But here we are. We're starting off with 95-96 Pinnacle card of Dave Andreychuk. I got this one TTM probably about 10 or so years ago. A lot of similar to baseball, I guess. So I guess it's not that different. But there are quite a few Hall of Famers, both in baseball and in hockey, that do sign TTM. I haven't done much paid TTM, so this one is free. Great looking card. I love this Pinnacle set. So it was cool to have a signed card of him. Next up, we have from it was in the game a few years ago. They did a lot of really great focused releases. So they do like a release just on the Montreal Canadiens, just on the like the Detroit Red Wings, Toronto Maple Leafs, that kind of thing. This one is particular, I believe, was referred to as Lord Stanley's mug, and so this set focused on players that have won the Stanley Cup and teams that have won the Stanley Cup. So next up on the list from my Pittsburgh Penguins, we've got Tom Barrasso, goaltender who was on the team and a prominent fixture on the team when I started following them in the early 90s. Elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Great to pull this card from pack, because apparently he's not the friendliest guy in person. So you're better off just either buying one secondhand or pulling it from a pack like I did. Next up we have from the legendary New York Islanders of the early 80s. You've got forward Mike Bossy, who was one of the all-time leading scorers in the NHL. This one is from 2011-2012, Panini Limited. One of my favorite sets to buy back when I was ripping packs. It was a one-pack product, like 5 or 6 cards in a pack with lots of autographs, memorabilia in them. Just a fun product to open overall. So I did quite a lot of these back in the day. And one of the ones I got was this one. So happy to have it in my collection. Looks great. Hard signed card. White, blue ink on a white background. Next up, one of the greatest defensemen of all time, featured in this card on the Boston Bruins, where he spent most of his career, Ray Bourque. He spent a year and a half elsewhere towards the end of the career with the Colorado Avalanche, where he finally won the Stanley Cup. And throughout his career, especially towards the end, Ray Bourque was that one guy from hockey who fell in that category of greatest player to never win the cup, and then finally got it, and then retired right after that. But finally accomplished it, even though it was with a different team. Happy to get his name on the cup. Next up, we've got this one. I've gotten him TTM before, but I went with, for this collection, a card that was from a pack, and that would be Chris Chelios, defenseman from the Chicago Blackhawks. I know he spent some time with a few other teams. I think some time with Detroit and early in his career with Montreal. But I started following hockey in the early '90s, so to me, the Chicago Blackhawks is a team that I feel best represents him. Next up, we got a little fabric with this one. We have Marcel Dionne from the Los Angeles Kings. With a beautiful, what Panini would call, well, no, that's a patch. Wasn't sure if it was a patch or a prime jersey swatch, but this one's a patch. We got the three colors of those early LA Kings sweaters with the purple, white, and yellow. And it matches the one on the card, so that's always great. I always love when the fabric matches the card itself. I know you can't do that all the time, but it's nice when they do. This one is also numbered out of 50. All right, next up we got another TTM. This one, I think, what are these? 84, 85 tops. No, this is an O-Pee-Chee. But we got Bernie Federko from the St. Louis Blues. I'm not 100% sure what team he's mostly known for. I know back towards the later end of his career, when I was pulling some of his cards out of packs in the early '90s, he was with the Detroit Red Wings. But I know he spent a lot of time with the St. Louis Blues. And yeah, the back of this card would suggest that as well. But Hockey Hall of Famer. Love how the blue looks with it. Yeah, got this one TTM. So great looking card. Happy to have it in my collection. Now we got another Penguin from that same limited set as the Mike Bossy was from. I believe the same insert set too, but Ron Francis of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know he also spent a lot of time in Carolina and Hartford with that franchise, and I think after his playing career was done, I think he had an office job with the team too. So that's probably the Hurricanes are probably the team that he would most accurately represent. But, you know, as a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, I want him on a Penguins card. So, great looking card, hard signed, looks great. Next, we have another TTM of Michel Goulet of the Quebec Nordiques. And yeah, a lot of cards I pulled in the early '90s. He was at the end of his career with the Chicago Blackhawks, but spent most of his career with Quebec. So I was happy to that. With the TTMs that I sent, I at least had one card that kind of represented that part of his career. All right, this is another one pulled from packs, actually from the female side of the game, from 2011 Goodwin's Champions, Cami Granato. The only female Hall of Famer I have in my collection, although I'm certainly hoping to add more. But this one was pulled out of a multi-sport release. And I think her brother Tony played in the NHL for a few years with LA and San Jose, but didn't quite have the career that her sister did. Next up, we have Jarome Iginla, featured here with the Calgary Flames, where he's most notably for. And he was drafted by the Stars, traded to Calgary in the deal that brought Joe Nieuwendyk to Dallas. Spent most of his career in Calgary, a few later years of his career with Pittsburgh and Colorado, and maybe another team or two. I'd like to get a card of him on the Penguins, but I think he was only with them for maybe half a season. It might have been even like a trade deadline deal, and then he signed somewhere else in the offseason. So I don't even know if there's any available, but if there is, I hope to get one. But for now, this one will have to suffice. From 2011-12 Panini Contenders. Next up, we got some more fabric. From National Treasures in 2013-14, Pat LaFontaine. 2 blue swatches. That is a sticker autograph, but yeah, it's alright. It's a great looking card. I think this was the very end of Panini's license with the NHL. So there was with this product, there was a certain sticker dump, fabric dump, whatever you want to call it kind of thing. So you got great value with the set. Now it was an expensive product, but they really packed it in with quite a lot. So I've got a few cards from here that are great. This has blue swatches, but I don't know if they would be from a New York Islanders or Buffalo Sabres sweaters. He spent time with both teams. But either way, a great looking card. Happy to have it in my collection. Now we go similar to the Tom Barrasso from the Lord Stanley's mug. We've got Igor Larionov, the Detroit Red Wings. And this will be the second, I think, out of 3 cards in this set that come from, or in my collection, my autographed Hall of Fame collection that come from this set. Shiny looking card, great, signs on the silver. Yeah, I love the look of this set. Features the cut prominently and then leaves you plenty of room for the signature, which is on card, which is great. Nicklas Lidstrom we have from, that would be 2015 Leaf Ultimate. Now, I already went against what I just said. I know I have this card in that Lord Stanley's mug, Nicklas Lidstrom autographed, but I think I went with this one in the autographed Hall of Fame collection, just because it's something different. The other one is hard signed. This one's a sticker, but I just like the look of the card overall. The card design, it looks like something you'd find from Upper Deck the Cup. So it's a really great looking card, pretty thick as well, but I like it quite a lot. Speaking of Upper Deck the Cup, from 2010-11, Ted Lindsay. Fantastic looking card. Has him on the Detroit Red Wings. One of the all-time greats, hard signed card. And a few years ago, they renamed the award after him that signifies the most valuable player as voted on, most valuable player in the league as voted on by the players themselves. So you have the Hart Trophy, which is the main MVP, I guess, that's voted on by the writers, similar to what they do in football, baseball, basketball. And then there's also a separate award they have in hockey where the players themselves vote on it. And that one's the Ted Lindsay Award. So happy to have this in my collection. Now we have from National Treasures, Panini National Treasures 2013-14, a fantastic looking card of goaltender Henrik Lundqvist of the New York Rangers. This one, we have an interesting combination of fabric and ink in that they have the ink over the fabric but not on it. There is actually a window that they sign on right above it. So you have the look of the fabric. And the nice thing here is that you don't have to worry about over time the ink itself bleeding onto the fabric. So it stays pristine as it was in the beginning. And looks awesome. This one's numbered 1 out of 15. So a very limited card of this version. Now, I'm sure there might even be more rare versions that have maybe a patch instead of the prime jersey swatch, or more common variations that just have the single colored swatch. Now we have from 2012 Panini Prime, one of my favorite sets. Roberto Luongo, Prime Signatures. I've got a few from this set. I just love the look of them overall. Panini's always done a great job of the visual presentation of the cards. And what I like is they coordinate the design to go in with the team colors. So you have the blue in the background to go with the Vancouver Canucks blue. And they leave plenty of surface on the bottom, white surface with the blue ink over it, which is my favorite combination. So just a great looking card. I've got a few of these in this part of my collection, and that's one of them I went with. Ryan Miller, speaking of the Olympics, I think he was the guy, I guess somewhat of what we had with Connor Hellebuck, we had with Ryan Miller in, I think it was 2010, the Vancouver Olympics, when they pretty much, big reason that USA even got to the gold medal game was because of Ryan Miller's performance. So I wanted to, at the time, add some cards of his to my collection. I've got a couple autographs of his. This is the one I decided to put in my Hall of Fame collection. This is from Panini Crown Royale, sticker autograph. But I like the die cut top of the card. And yeah, looks great overall. Happy to have Ryan Miller. And another one from Panini Prime Signatures, Mike Modano. I grew up in Texas, but I wasn't really a Stars fan because when we first moved there and I started following hockey, it was before the Minnesota North Stars moved to Dallas. So there really wasn't like a local Texas hockey team. So then I ended up going with the team that was good at the time, which was the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I've stayed with them ever since then. But had we gone to Texas or had I followed hockey years later, then things might have been differently in my hockey fandom. But for now, I still like this card. I still enjoyed watching the Stars. Still had a certain amount of fandom for them, and an appreciation for the team. But yeah, great looking card, Mike Modano. He does have a good looking signature. You certainly writes out his letters. The legibility is debatable, but looks like every letter is written out, and it's not just a scribble or a symbol. So it's a great looking signature. I ended up meeting him a few years back with the public signing that Fan HQ did in Minneapolis. So I've got a bunch of other Mike Modano autographs, but at the time I didn't get any cards signed. So any autographed cards I have of Modano are all going to be pack pulled or purchased. Next up, we have from SP Game Used, Upper Deck, 2013-14, Cam Neely. One of the all-time great Boston Bruins. Sticker autograph, but a great looking card. Now from Be a Player. The year is 2006-07, so one of the older ones. Or at least one of the older ones that isn't a TTM. But Scott Niedermayer from the Anaheim Ducks. He spent a lot of his career with the New Jersey Devils. Only a few years in Anaheim. So maybe if I was going to go with more of a card that shows him with his main team, it would be the New Jersey Devils. But for now, this one fits in my Hockey Hall of Fame collection. And I spoke of Joe Nieuwendyk earlier in the trade that brought him from Calgary and from Calgary to Dallas, but we also have the other part of that Jarome Iginla trade, Joe Nieuwendyk. On neither of those teams here, he was with the New Jersey Devils here, but a great looking hard signed card from National Treasures? Yeah. No, Dominion, Panini Dominion. But yeah, a great looking patch. You can see just a little sliver of the red, but a tricolor patch. And hard signed autograph, blue on white background, as with the New Jersey Devils, but a great looking card. I like it. All right, another in the game card. They were great in the early 10s for having no redemptions in their products, and almost everything was hard signed. I want to say everything was, but there might be a few multiplayer autograph cards where logistically you just can't. You can't do it. You can't do it hard signed if you have like 4 or 5 players. It's just logistically too difficult. But most of their stuff was hard signed, including this one from decades 1980s of Brad Park of the Boston Bruins, who at one time was probably the second greatest defenseman in Boston Bruins history, next to Bobby Orr. But any defenseman on any team of any era would be the second greatest next to Bobby Orr. So he's in good company. But a great looking card. A lot of space for the signature. Now we have another one from Upper Deck the Cup. I did, in my pack ripping days, get 1 or 2 tins of the Cup. Super expensive at the time. And they're just completely out of almost anyone's range now. When you compare the price of what they were 15 years ago to where they were now. And the price is quadrupled. And it's ridiculous. And I don't know that you get anything more or anything extra out of the product to justify the price increase. But I did this one at the time, 2014-15, and ended up pulling a autographed card, signature renditions of Montreal Canadiens goaltender Carey Price. Signed it with a thin gold Sharpie. Doesn't quite stand out as much as I'd like it to, but overall the card looks good. It really does look high end, pretty thick card stock. Good looking signature overall. I just kind of wish either they had a thicker marker or maybe something a little bit of a different color that would kind of stand out more. Because like gold really, it seems like a good idea sometimes, but unless it's gold on like a black surface, it's easy for it to kind of blend in. Now this next guy, I was kind of unsure of which card to include for the autograph Hall of Fame collection. So Chris Pronger, I've got him on Panini Limited 2011-12. A great looking card featuring Stanley Cup winners, signed to the side in silver. Next to white background and blue ink, I really like silver ink on a black background. So it's an awesome looking card, but as the nature of the design is, he signed it sideways, which you have to do for this design. But on the other hand, if I'm displaying something, I do like to have the signature kind of as it should be read. So we also have this Prime Signatures card of Chris Pronger from the Philadelphia Flyers. Similar to what you've seen with a couple others already. Just a great looking card overall. Blue ink, white background. I think I got this one in there for now. We'll see if my mind changes over time. This one I'm not 100% sure. It's an in-the-game set. Heroes and Prospects, that's right. But Heroes and I guess this qualifies under the Heroes part of it, but Henri Richard, Montreal Canadiens legend and brother of one of the all-time greats, Maurice Richard. It is a sticker autograph, but I always thought that when in the game had to utilize stickers that they did a great job of blending it into the design so well that you really weren't sure that it was a sticker. They have it framed just perfectly in here, so you honestly don't even notice. I know Topps on some of their, not those original like silver foil ones, but even some kind of their clear stickers, they'll have some kind of markings in it to I guess, authenticate it. But at the same time, it makes the fact that the sticker's there look obvious. All right, next up, we've got one from, this would be Panini Dominion. I like this one because it features him with the Pittsburgh Penguins, although he was only ever with the Penguins for maybe a season or two. Mostly he spent his time with the LA Kings, playing alongside Wayne Gretzky in the late 80s, early 90s, and spent some time in Detroit. But for the season or two he was in Pittsburgh, they decided to use that one for this card. But Luc Robitaille, happy to have him featured on the Penguins. If I can get a card of anyone who played for the Penguins on the Penguins, even if it was just for half a season, I'll gladly take it. This one is a hard signed card. It was I got it in a trade, so you kind of have to trust the authenticity of it. But we got Jeremy Roenick featured on the Chicago Blackhawks, and he did spend some time with other teams towards the end of his career: San Jose, Phoenix, LA. But to me, he's mostly known as for his time with the Chicago Blackhawks. So this is the perfect team for him to be represented with. Another oldie we've got from Parker's Champions, Milt Schmidt of the Boston Bruins. Signed in blue. The design is okay. It doesn't lend itself so great to blue ink, though. They did kind of fade it a little bit right there and put a little bit of a white cloud to let it stand out a little bit more. But I still think it kind of blends in a little bit more than I'd like. But it is still a hard signed card, so no stickers were used in it. So I was happy about that. Next one, I guess we show these two together, but Twins, Canucks, and Hall of Famers, we have Daniel and Henrik Sedin from Dominion, from the same set design. Both of them feature a patch of the, I guess that'd be the home sweater, so you're getting the blue jersey with the white patch. Both of them hard signed in blue, but what makes these cool together specifically, if you look here, serial number 21 out of 60 for Daniel, and serial number 21 out of 60 for Henrik. Both of these were redemptions. I bought them both at the same time. I redeemed them both at the same time. And as luck would have it, Panini sent me the exact same serial number, both of them. Now, apart from if you could have had one of them be 22 or one of them be 23, 33, 22, or 33 to match their jersey numbers, I think the fact that you have both serial numbers, the exact same serial number for the twin Hall of Famers, I love that. So as far as I'm concerned, even if I decide to sell them, those cards are always going to stay together. Another great looking patch autograph we have from the Cup. We have Martin St. Louis of the Tampa Bay Lightning, featuring a 4-colored jersey patch. We've got the white jersey, and then the blue, silver, and black of the patch. I think that would be a number, but I could be wrong on that. But great looking card, hard signed. They always have great quality with the Cup, as expensive as it is. Next up, we have Joe Thornton from Panini Dominion. This one is numbered 43 out of 50. Hard signed card featuring him with the San Jose Sharks. which ended up being the team he was most noted for. He started his career in Boston, finished it in Toronto, but he's mostly known for his time with the Sharks. The only thing I would change about this card, or to if I was going to replace it with another card, is to get one with that big bushy beard he had towards the end of his career. I think that's come to be his kind of his signature look. So I'd like to have that represented, but for now, this one looks great. All right, next up we got from another one from the 13-14 Panini National Treasures. Similar to the Pat LaFontaine, we have Bryan Trottier of the New York Islanders. I was trying to see if these were blue or black. Black swatches. Okay. So not only does it not match the jersey that he's wearing, it doesn't match the team. But even if the picture on the card doesn't feature him as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins, where he'd win a couple Stanley Cups, I believe. Either one or two. I'm not sure if he was with the team for both years. But I know he won at least one cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, yeah, 4 with the New York Islanders. But even if the picture on the card doesn't represent the Penguins, I'm glad that the jersey swatches do. And we have, next up, from Panini, this Panini Private Signings from 2011-12, I think. Now, this one isn't of any particular release, because what Panini was doing at the time with this set, Private Signings, was they were putting this same design in all of their sets. So these cards are scattered throughout the different Panini sets that they issued, or at least through their more mid to high-end ones. But a great looking hard signed card. Features him as captain of the Nashville Predators. Spent most of his career there. I think he finished it up in Montreal, but mostly known as part of Nashville. Lastly, this one is an out of the alphabetical order, but I decided to save it to last because it's my favorite and it's the best one that I've got. But we have from Prime Signatures, numbered 6/25, the greatest Pittsburgh Penguin of all time, Mario Lemieux. Card looks awesome. Got the black and yellow in the background. Great looking card up front. Captain C on the sweater. And nice blue ink, white background. One of the absolute favorite hockey cards I have in my collection. Well, that's it for that. My Hockey Hall of Fame autographed cards. As I compared this to baseball, I certainly, at the height of my collecting, was definitely more focused on hockey. And I still am focused on hockey. I'd say right now it's probably 50-50 between the two. I'm finding myself, as I'm looking on eBay for singles, looking for hockey in some instances and looking for baseball in others. But I'm going to be continuing my Hockey Hall of Fame autographed card acquisitions. Hope to have more soon. Don't really have any quite on the horizon yet, but as I do, I will certainly be happy to share them with you guys. But until the next time, thanks for watching.